Hey everybody, welcome back to Happy Hour at the Banner Bar, whatever. Let's get into it. Okay, I'm alone, as always, so let's give it a shot. So, same as ever, 6 beers, 6 questions, no one gives a shit about. Do it, say it was done. Maybe we can move the hell on with our lives, our shitty ass lives. First up is the Summer Ale from Samuel Adams. It's a citrus wheat ale that's 5.3% alcohol by volume. Oh, and your question, which game's level creator have you spent the most time with? Okay, a lot of words, doesn't matter. The bottom's got some funk on it, so I guess there's something going on there. It's unfiltered. Did I read that already or something? No. Who gives a fuck? Smells like lemon and beer. Light lemon, still smells like lemon. Not as bad as I would have thought, but not great either. I don't love wheat beers. Never have. This one hides it well. I don't know. 6. Again, I'm not blown away, but it tastes somewhat decent. It's got kind of like a honey character to it. If you stretch, if a lemon can taste like honey, a cough drop sort of thing, that's what the fuck this is. It's a cough drop. So, if you're not sick and you just want to taste a fucking cough drop and get drunk at the same time, it's your chance. Sick fucks. And I got no room to talk. I just gave it a 6. So, the fuck's with this one? Spewing its head all at me like a... Ugh. Keep the top off, dumbass. Level creator in a game. Let me think. There are only really 2 that I ever messed with at all. Or not at all, but primarily. There's a game called Cuboid. It was a puzzle game. I spent a lot of time in it. I was really proud of everything that I did in that game, and no one ever gave a shit. And I posted all my stuff online, and I don't know. The servers were shut down pretty soon thereafter, and then there's Tony Hawk 3 or Underground 2 or something. You can make tricks and you can make your stages and name your gaps and all this. I spent so much time. And still have the memory card actually even somewhere. That's the kind of pathetic that I am. And no one's ever going to see that. No one's ever going to play it or whatever. Next beer. Assuming it's a beer. It is. It's an IPA. Of course. Can't have a show without an IPA. Spindletap with the Houston Haze IPA. Are y'all even trying to be original now? Haze just has to be in the name in some way, and you name it after some city in Texas. And this is 7%, or whatever that's worth. It's hazy. Yep, looks like an IPA in the head. Definitely smells like one. Question, do you study instructions thoroughly before trying to assemble something? I don't know that I'm even in the mood for this. Guess I could have talked about the smell a little bit. No, I just jumped right into the taste because Head McGee over here. Fucking, ugh. Now I'm probably smelling whatever that is instead of this. This doesn't smell good. Which, this has kind of a moldy grapefruit scent to it. And the taste isn't too far removed from that either. What I do like, it's really cold. It's kind of malty. It's not overly sweet. Has a good body. Body is almost medium on this, and I can't argue with that. 7%. So, I mean, if you just wanted to drink away your sorrows, you could do it with this. If you wanted to forget the night, you could probably do it with this too. But it's a 5. It's decent. Some would call it forgettable. I think some people would call it unpleasant. Definitely, it's got a character, I guess, that if you really liked, like a moldy grapefruit, then that might be for you. Do I study instructions thoroughly before trying to assemble something? No, I'm a normal fucking person. If I look at the instructions at all, I follow step by step. And usually fuck something up because, of course, they can't just write instructions to tell you what you need to know at every step. It's always like, oh, by the way, 3 steps ahead of this, you're going to find out you should have done some shit back here. Why? It's correlation to my life here. The coat just makes noise. I just make noise. That's what it's about. Next up is Star Lager. It's imported. Cold filtered lager beer. And the bottom says Star Shine Shine Bobo. This is going to taste like shit? Is that what you're trying to tell me? 5.1% ABV. I want to read all this shit. It tells me it's subjected to a bunch of quality checks. You needed a fucking paragraph to tell me that? Whatever. I guess I'm kind of excited about the Star beer because I never had it. Question is, what cures a hangover? And I want to know where this comes from. Assuming it will tell me. Probably says it on the front. The fucking thing's falling off of this, and it's got a fancy top like it's wine. No. Of course not. It's probably on here somewhere, and my stupid ass just doesn't see it. Whatever. It's a beer. We're going to taste it. It's a lager. Which I've learned I prefer more than ales. It didn't really smell like much of anything. Yeah. Very, very light beer scent on the top. Foreign. Definitely doesn't smell American. It smells, once you get the barley character coming through, smells quite a bit better than it tasted initially. Let's keep trying it. I think I've still got the IPA in my mouth and this fucking summer ale. If I could experience happiness at this point in my life, I think this might kind of make me happy. Looks like a slightly bigger bottle. Yeah, it's 15.21 ounces compared to some of the rest of these. So, I mean, that's good too. It's sweet and it's malty. It's malted barley in this, but it doesn't go overboard. It's got like a really beautiful grain combination. You know, I don't know. Fuck it. I'm gonna drink some. Swear to God. But this one's great. It really is. The more I drink it, actually, the better it's getting. I'm trying to think of what it reminds me of. Like, it almost feels like it has like a very light amount of lactose or something in it. It's probably the malted barley. And malt always, goes in that direction. 8. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure when I got it, this was one of the cheapest bottles at the store. That's our world. This is super popular, and oh, this is fancy for fucking Houston IPA. That's exquisite. It's also imported and somehow cheaper than most of the shit I can buy in stores local. What cures a hangover? I don't really know. What I do at the end of a night of like drinking too much is I usually drink about a glass of water. I have a few ibuprofen. That's about it. When I get up in the morning, I'll tend to eat because that helps. You definitely don't want an empty stomach in the morning. I'm told things like chocolate help. Oh, electrolytes. Can't forget the electrolytes. I do have electrolytes at times. So normally not just water, some Gatorade or some Noon tablets. Totally cure your hangover, right? But if you had the worst night of drinking of your life, it's not going to do a whole lot. You're still going to have to suffer for a while. So that's just if you go slightly overboard. You tend to feel pretty good the next day. I will say there are some like really dark, heavy, high ABV beers and some IPAs that they don't go away easy. You don't wake up the next day feeling like you had a clean drunk. Something like this, you could. I forget what the word is. It's something like impurities or particulates or something in the alcohol. It's like people talk about vodka being the easiest thing to recover from because it's so pure versus something like gin or tequila or, whiskeys that have the age factors and the other impurities from the grains or the fruit or whatever. So, yeah, I don't know. If you don't want to be hungover, don't drink. But if you're going to drink stuff like this. You'll be less hungover. See what the beer is first, right? Oh, it's the fucking Iron Maiden Trooper beer. Isn't this a big brand or something? My God, people love jerking themselves off with the writing on these cans. Unicorn Brewery. There we go. Unicorn Brewery did Iron Maiden Robinson's Trooper Premium British Beer from Cheshire, England. That's 4.7%. It's a pint that's charged with flavor. We'll fucking see, won't we? I already forgot it. Premium British Beer. That's why, What exactly is a British beer? Y'all only have one kind of beer? I highly fucking doubt it. Let's pretend, though. Robinson's and Unicorn Brewery. By the way, are you a giant Iron Maiden fan? I never quite got it. I showed up to music, I think, right as symphonic rock was becoming really big. That captured me, and metal captured me, and then trying to go back to things like Iron Maiden, or even a lot of early like Black Sabbath, like it doesn't hit right. It doesn't hit as well as some of those other things that I'm used to. So, some people might be really stoked for this. I wouldn't have thought Britain, but I'm not. So, question is, what's the worst place you can imagine being stranded in a survival situation? And that question straight flew out the window for me because all I was left thinking about was a Psycho Stick song called We Ran Out of CD Space. Go listen if you want to know what the fuck I'm talking about. I look like I got a white Cheeto on my table. Just fizzled into nothing. Okay, so to be perfectly honest, the amber lager quality here, the lacing, what appears to be the weight, the maltiness, the scent, everything about this has like a Bach amber quality, almost a brown quality too. It's got those coppery notes that I like. Got that European stuff. This presents really perfectly on the nose. This smells exquisite in a world where I don't expect anything to fucking be exquisite anymore. Yep. It's good. It is slightly sour. I'm guessing that's where we had to at least bring the like hardcore Trooper Iron Maiden, into the fray of the beer. Just slightly though. You may not notice it. It may present as like an unsweet taste to the beer where you were expecting it to be sweet. Sour definitely punching through, though. I'm going to go with a 7. I really like it. Once you taste it, though, and it starts to get sour, it's not that 10 you expect it to be, nor the 9, nor the 8. It's a 7. And a 7 is still a really good fucking rating. So if you're out there from Unicorn or Robinson's or fucking Iron Maiden watching for some reason, kiss my dick. Maybe I'd be more interested in living my life if you did kiss my dick. So, not terrible. Not at all. But if like that copper quality, or think if you tasted soy sauce and it was kind of sour amid like a sesame chicken setting. I think this is why I crave Chinese all the time when I'm drinking beer. Because I get that umami quality. Supposed to clean that with water, but I'm going to go ahead and drink some of this 9 from a previous episode while I try to tell you about the worst place I can imagine being stranded in a survival situation. It's fucking easy. Assuming it's on Earth and not floating in outer space, floating on the ocean. No thank you. I don't want to be in a life raft on the ocean. I only want to be on like a little ship in the middle of the ocean. People tend to underestimate in their heads, I have a feeling, just how big the ocean is. How hard it is to see something in a lake or a river even. You know, you ever watch like old unsolved mystery stuff? And there's tons and tons of boats out there and scuba divers, and there's people on the sides that are like just looking through binoculars trying to find like a body floating or somebody swimming, and it's damn near impossible even on a lake or a river because of all the reflectiveness and the motion of the water. Like, think about the ocean. Think about how big that is. Think about the big shit that lives in the ocean, and if it just picks up on your scent and decides to come at you, or if you get stuck in some giant, like, no, there's nothing I think that would compare to that survival situation. Just the thought of being surrounded by water that I can't drink as I dehydrate to death? No thank you. Okay, Real Ale. Time to find out why this is foaming like it is. A crisp and crushable Helles lager, Helles style lager. So it's not technically a Helles, which I think is just wheat. Right? Is that German for wheat? Correct me in the comments. You know you want to. I got another Cheeto, didn't I? Yes, I did. Crispy Business Lager Beer. 4.5%. Slow up on the ABV, Real Ale. You don't want to hit us over the head, now do you? Okay. We got a lot of that one. It just kind of gooped out. I don't know what the hell's happening with this one, but not off to the best start, now is it? It leaked all over my question. What I should start doing is just bringing the journal and opening to a page. Like I could just set it down here, open to the page. I print these out every time like a jackass. Question is, what's something interesting about your birthday? This one smells a lot like this one. Quite a lot. Very similar. This one has a spice note to it, very mild. I don't know if you would notice it. I do. It's appealing. Sometimes I wonder, by the way, because there are breweries here where I live in Texas that you don't have access to the local craft brews from, Northeast or Northwest, wherever. Sometimes they just don't have the distribution. So you never get to taste them, and you're always tasting more of your local grains than anything else. It's just the way the world works. It's more readily available. It's normally cheaper. So sometimes I wonder if you develop a taste for what's local, and if you went somewhere else, if everything would taste less good, I guess. I feel like I'm at the point in my life where The things that tasted good to me once upon a time, they just don't anymore. And it's made me so jaded to things that I don't even look forward to the new stuff from other places. I still feel a twinge of happiness when I get something like this and it surprises me, but there's a fucking star, 2 stars on the sides of this beer. They really went all out on this one. But we're tasting crispy business. I think I know what it is. I think I know exactly what it is. Back in the day, at convenience stores and whatnot, you could buy, I want to say they were water drinks. You know, they may have been sodas, but they looked like waters and they tasted kind of like juices. There was something called Rain. And I want to say it had agave in it. So this tastes every bit of a Stella Artois, something foreign. Maybe Heineken, again, picks up on that flavor. You get it right here. Perfect European grain note. And on top of that, excuse me, probably burping the beer because you could tell it wanted to be noticed. On top of the agave, you're also tasting that Rain juice drink. If you weren't there, I apologize. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm trying to say that that's amazing. Those two things put together, if I'm going to fault this beer for anything, it is strictly for the weight. Like, the body is just a little too light for my typical drinking habits. That having been said, so? That's not fair. I did find a flaw. 9. Taste-wise, this is superior to this. Just because I have those 2 sense memories. This has a better body. It's better malt quality to it. This one has a better flavor. If that makes sense. Something interesting about my birthday? I want to say nothing. You know, it's just another day of the year. What always comes to mind? Share a birthday with Eazy-E. And it was also the day of the year. I wasn't born the same day Eazy-E was. I was born the same day of the year that Eazy-E was. And it's also the same day that Tupac got shot in Vegas, where he supposedly died. It's a long time ago. It's crazy to think that I'm still alive and he's still in hiding. I'm going to drink a little more, if you don't mind. It's been a rough year. So, beer. About the only friend I have left. Last is from Great Divide. I think it's pumpkin. Yeah. Pumpkin Ale. Brewed and canned by Great Divide. Thank you. I never would have fucking known that. What's your ABV? 6.5%. So it's decent. The color is definitely... It's dark. It's darker than a Bock. It almost looks like a porter. Question is, do you open messages immediately or wait until you have plenty of time to respond? Maybe I wasn't in an IPA mode. Maybe hops weren't my jam tonight, but grain definitely seems to be. I seem to be appreciating the grain. I could tell right off the bat, this isn't pumpkin, it's pumpkin spice. It actually has a note of what most people would think of as licorice, as black licorice in it. It's star anise. So they're probably using some combination of like a Chinese allspice and the pumpkin spice to create this brew on top of the dark toasted grains. Lacing's pretty average. It actually looks like it's dark, but it's not going to be heavy, if that makes any sense. Okay. A lot of coffee character on the top of that. It's not, and I'm sorry, Denver, Colorado, but it just doesn't feel like pumpkin. Like if you burnt a pumpkin pie that had some funky spices in it, I could see that. The grains do actually feel a little burnt. The question is, how much do I like it? If at all. Yeah, I don't think I'd want to drink a whole one of these. I'm sure somebody out there does. Like if you like coffee and caramel and like a little bit of campfire with some funky spices in it, those things create this beer. I'm going to call it forgettable just because I'm going to forget about it. You know, it's pretty unique, but it's just not good, you know. So I wouldn't even say it's decent, but not unpleasant. I just don't want to drink the whole thing. Messages. I am the world's worst about being all over the map with regard to messages. Some days I feel really social. Other days I don't feel social at all. Sometimes a whole week will go by before I realize I really want to fucking talk to that person that was messaging me. Let me open the message. Let me open the messages. Let me see. Let's have a conversation. It's unfair to the person on the opposite side. And I've realized that I am that shit person who needs to be in the right state of mind. And I guess I'm just lucky that people have cared enough. Like usually when I respond, someone's right there. It makes me feel good, but like I could be better, you know? Because you know, if my wife texts me, I open it immediately just to see what it is. All right. My mom calls. I answer those calls. So much about socialization, though, has been so disappointing for so long. Beyond that it feels like kind of like work sometimes. Like I have to really want it to socialize, to make that thing happen. And it sucks because when it does come back and I stop feeling so jaded about everything, I really want it. And I notice in those moments that I wish I was that person all the time, but I'm not that person all the time. It's the worst when someone's, and this is the stupidest part because I am, excuse the vehicles driving down my road. I'm infamous for posting things people don't care about, right? I will post like music videos is a good example. And people will send me music videos that I either add to a playlist or I don't open the messages right away because I can see what it is. And sometimes I'm at work or I'm out with friends. I want to be able to focus. Maybe I shouldn't be so hard on myself because maybe that's what it is. Maybe I just really want to be able to give something my full focus and care about it. But yeah, I'll post videos and when people send them to me or songs and people send them to me, I don't always listen to it immediately. I just know I want to. So I'll add it to a list and then check it out later on. Immediacy, the availability, the immediate availability, you can't give that to everyone. That's been a real struggle. That's probably why I don't have as many friends as I would like to have. Or the social life that I would necessarily like to have. I don't want to be alone at this table. Sometimes I am. And you want to say, well, that's just life. But really, I feel like if I opened myself up to more people or was there in a bigger way, in a better way for more people, the way I used to be, back before I had a family and kids and genuine responsibilities, that all of that community feeling would come back. But I don't know. I don't know at all. Thank you for sitting with me. I'm sorry for being such a downer. Yeah, that's the show. So help us keep the combo going by sharing the video. I'll see you next time. I most definitely will see you next time. I'll be here for another round at the Banner Bar.
I'll just leave you a little sip in case you want to go back.
I appreciate the sip. I think I could drink quite a bit of this.
I just want to see how it feels in my mouth.
I guess we'll see you next time.
On the Banter Bar.
By the way, before we go, I'm in a really good mood, okay? This is an act, but I think it's Mark Rebier who said it at one point. He was doing, what's it called? I can't think of it. Something like Sunday Afternoon or something. He was doing this like really heartfelt stream, amazing bass line in this song that he was creating. But he asked people not to worry about him because sometimes he just goes to that place. That's where I was going. I didn't plan to do this, but like my hairline was messed up from wearing a wig on a previous episode. So it's very messed up now. I can feel it. But I'm not down. So we're clear. I'm upbeat. I'm good. I'm in a good place. But I did want to say this episode was not me making fun of anyone who is not in a good place. I know what that's like. I've been there for many years. I'm still routinely there from time to time, so I don't want to play everything off like it's all peaches and cream because it's not. Life's not. Life is hard. But this thing that I was doing here tonight is absolutely not the way I approach life anymore. I approach life from a very positive perspective. I'm trying to look at the best in everything, trying to count the moments as though they may be my last. I've had, the dark, late night suicidal thoughts for as long as I can remember pretty much. Life is full of tragedy. You don't have to focus on it. You don't have to make someone else's tragedy your own either. I know people who aren't here anymore because they didn't make it through those nights. I count myself lucky to have the coping mechanisms to get through those nights. And some people just didn't have those coping mechanisms. So if you're out there, hang on. It'll get better. You'll get better at this, about the living to see another day thing. Things will feel great. Trust me. I mean, I think I had 2 9s on the show tonight. Fucking amazing. It really was. So, and that's on top of something else that was recorded earlier tonight. But the gist of it is, tragedy in your life does not mean that tragedy is what your life has to become. So I hope for your sake that you take care of yourself. Farewell, beer snobs. And the non-beer snobs who watch.